Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Let's get ready to rumble!
0.
talk to God, go banging on his door.
You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock.
Yeah.
You can move a mountain, you can break rocks.
You could be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you go find yourself.
Standing in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And the world's gonna know your name.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to listen to.
There we go.
Yes, I kind of realized that halfway through that video that it like cut us off, and I didn't realize that. That's the Africa's judge's intro that they play. And I kind of wanted to show them a little bit of love, so I threw it out there for that.
Oh,
But
definitely.
But I did realize at that point, though, like I said, that it literally cut in half, and you could still see, like on the corner, you could see us. So I was like, yeah,
Hey, wait, here I am. There's Jimmy. I think Jimmy's in there somewhere.
yeah. So I didn't know that part. So how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic, man. I know you had a great last weekend with kind of the big show that you had out in Grand Island, Nebraska.
Yeah.
We got another one coming up this weekend. I got one coming up this weekend. We got, I think there's like 5 or 6 coming up this weekend.
I have
two
two
of them,
this
actually.
week. I have two
you
this
got one in Missouri and one in Kansas as well. So you're putting on the miles this weekend, man.
I have Springfield audio or Springfield with GP Car Audio this weekend on Saturday, and then Sunday coming back up to my audio in Lenexa, Kansas. So
Nice. Well,
Put 'em out
pass on a hello to Tyler at GP for me. I haven't spoken with him since finals. So, 3 or 4 years ago. I occasionally popped in on a couple little things with them on their Facebook stuff when they're doing promotions and whatnot, but I haven't actually spoken with him in a while. But pass on a hearty hello for me.
I will. Let's just say I can't quite say exactly what's going on with everything, but GP's helping out this year. That's all I'm going to say right now. So,
Excellent.
you know that, and we got some pretty cool things that are coming up as far as awards. There's a company that paid for the first place awards. Then I have another company, or Billy has another company, whatever. Another company that's paying for the second place awards, and then we have another company that is paying for the third place awards as well too.
Excellent.
So it kind of divides them up that way. They can all get their I don't know what the word I'm looking for.
It gets their name out there, and it helps the burden of the financial area for everything. You don't have to shell out, let's say that they're $3,000 total. No one has to shell out $3,000 right away. They can each shell out $1,000 now, and maybe they do it again next year for another $1,000, and it spreads it out so they're able to help us out in a longer period of time, perhaps.
That's something I guess I never realized until I had to deal with it this year as far as the awards go, because Billy's left the awards up to me this year.
Right.
So I felt the burden of that on my shoulders. I'm not gonna lie, I felt the burden of that, and thank God I've had some amazing people stand behind me and behind Base Wars, and we've got some really, really cool awards coming out for you guys this year. And I promise you that this is not going to be the last. Billy's always did amazing awards, and you guys might be kind of a little sour over the last awards, but don't forget what he's did the last 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 years before that. Yeah. Billy's always put out amazing awards. I mean, hell, I have that one right there. The nice big kicker award, the third place one right there. So, I mean, I've seen surfboards. I've seen some amazing stuff that Billy has done. And Billy needed a break from all that. So I'm kind of trying to help out and step in a little bit with that aspect of it. And I'm going to already get started on the awards for next year already. Right after finals, we're going to get started on them. We're going to start looking for sponsors. So just saying, Billy doesn't like to ask this, but I'm going to ask this. If you guys want to sponsor Base Wars for the finals next year, for either trophies, reach out to me. And I'll get your, we'll talk. Absolutely. I don't know how else to say it, but we're going to talk.
We can definitely do that. That is a good thing. And I know I've been, not to take all of your steam away from doing that, but I've been helping out with the.
You've been helping out with all the names and stuff. Everybody to you is amazing.
All that little stuff where you think that a Facebook page or an Instagram page, that all of that gets taken care of automatically. Yeah, some of it does, but I'm generally, and I don't want to put all the burden on myself, but between myself and Tony's our Ohio judge, Tony Dulger. Tony and I have been kind of taking care of the Facebook side of things with the Facebook chat with getting people into the group. There's a lot of stuff out there with the spreadsheet that I talk about when, again, last night, Melissa and I, after a little, we'll call it a vacation, Melissa and I were on last night talking about stuff, and we talked about our spreadsheet a little bit last night about some of the things that I get to see on that with everything that happens.
Yeah, I missed that one last night.
20,000 runs for us total. We got a lot of good things out there from that. So we get to see, just tons of great stuff from that regard that some of the other judges might not be able to see. So again, if you see, a name that's spelled wrong or a class that might be wrong, I know
it happens.
He reached out to me about a class that was wrong, and I was able to change that on the spreadsheet. But unfortunately, John Tyler, Billy's son, who takes care of the graphics for us when all those results come out, that I don't think was changed yet, because that would be a bigger undertaking, whereas I can simply go in and make a couple of mouse clicks on the spreadsheet and get your name changed over from something. So it's kind of nice as well. So it's a good thing there.
Who is Nope? Is that Billy Temple?
I don't know. I saw it on there and I clicked add to it because I saw Billy's picture. I'm almost tempted to remove it, but it looks kind of like Billy in there. And, it's good to have a Billy presence once in a while.
Hello?
And it looks like we got Speedy was in here earlier. That was during the intro here, still about 10 minutes ago. So apologize to you there, Speedy, getting you in here later on, but we're getting everybody in here with everything. Kind of going to go back through this here for just a split second. Brody was on there doing, saying something about how everything was looking so clean in all those pictures. And yeah,
Billy has a lot of time and effort into them videos.
Those pictures that you guys sent in and gals sent in, a lot of those ended up on our new style of tag plates this year. They are technically just a little bit smaller than what they used to be, but only for a kind of a an aesthetics, and both that and money. The older ones were about a 1/4 inch too big, both in height and in length, and they didn't fit in the envelopes that Billy sends out to myself and Jimmy and Richard and Bell and Jim or any of the other judges. So we took away about a 1/4 inch on them, and now we can fit them in these little boxes that UPS and FedEx have, because their boxes are all a set size. So we
that's not always
ourselves, and we modified them, and now they all fit better. Now we can get all of them that we've got in, which we just got in 1,500 or 1,700 of them a couple weeks ago, and now we've got them all.
Yeah.
So we should not have any tag plate issues. Those of you that I personally owe tag plates to, I will have them all with me this weekend at my show in Huron, and next weekend up in Fargo, because I'm not going to ship them to Fargo. Found out they wanted to charge me $12 to ship out a single plate. And I'm like, no, it costs like $20 to ship out.
Honestly, I'm not trying to be a jerk, and I'm sorry when I say this, but I kind of got to the point where I still have tag plates from like 2.5 years ago in my box.
Yeah.
When Billy was personalizing the tag plates, when he forgot about something. So, I mean, I'll be honest with you, and I say it right over the microphone. Please have someone here to pick up your awards. If not, you forfeit them. I'm not going to carry your award. You're not going to look at me and be mad at me 2 months later when I see you and like, hey, I won a first place award at this show and I didn't get it. You shouldn't have left, and I'm sorry. You should have had somebody there to get your award for you, or at least talk to somebody or something. Don't just leave and assume that us as a judge is going to keep that award put off to the side. And I don't mean to be rude when I say that, and I'm sorry if I do, if I'm off that way, but I've had so many people reach out to me like 4 and 5 months later. It was like, hey, I was at a show in such and such and at such and such, and I didn't get my award. Can I get it from you at the next show? And I'm like, no. I'm sorry, no. But I mean, at some point in time, no. And I don't mean to be rude, but no.
Right? There was at one time. I don't know if it's in the new book, but there was something in there that we had put in there that said we'll ship them to you at your expense.
Yeah, I believe it's there.
I'll still be more than happy if you want to give me $10 or $12 to ship you off a little, your small tag plate, your piece of plastic, which is what they are, but they're fantastic. I love them.
Oh, I'm
If you want
excited.
to send me an extra $10 at a show for the next time, I'll be more than happy to. Or if I've got one extra laying around,
Billy
I
has
will, but generally I'm not bringing extras.
Billy put it in a new video. I'm kind of excited to see it. I ain't gonna lie. I want to click it.
I'm
I
liking
kind of
that idea.
All right, let's click it. Sorry, hang on, everybody. Let's see this new video. It's only 45 seconds. It'll be a part.
You've heard of the Base Force organization.
Nope. Okay. It wasn't bit.
That's all.
Nope. We'll have to fix that. But I'm sorry. Apologize.
So many good things to see and do.
It was
and
cool.
show.
Everybody puts a new video in. I'm excited to see it. I'm sorry. But that one, you got to figure out how to make it full screen, Billy.
I caught up with let's see which one is the new one. Now I got to even look to see which one is the new one because we got like
The
20 of
Facebook
them to choose from out here.
Real 100.
Okay. Yep.
That's the newest one.
There we go. Yeah, it's been a while since I've played around with anything here in StreamYard. Normally I just do a little, it's a 20-second or a 30-second intro thing, and I'm doing my little thing with it on the Wednesday nights. I'm not playing too many videos, but
I know some people kind of get a little upset with me sometimes because I play like 4 and 5 videos, but I'm sorry. I say this all the time. It's like Billy puts so much time and effort into the videos. I appreciate the hell out of them videos. And if it's got your build in there, you want to see that video 500 times. It doesn't matter what anybody else says.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. Aside from Billy's time, it's Hog's time and Jody's time, and I'm just going through the names here. It's Odie, it's Tony, it's all the time that you guys yell into the build.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I'm using Carlos and Jessica right here behind me.
I still want that backdrop. I still want that
one. That's
purple backdrop.
That's Richard out there in California and Vegas area, but
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
As long as we can get those guys in there, 186.29. I think one of two. I don't believe Alan did over 186 yet, but
okay. But let's put this out there, and I'm just going to be 100% truthful with you guys. I know a lot of you guys that compete with us steady, that are members or whatever, that is coming to finals, are kind of upset about Greg's score or Carlos's score or this other guy's really, really loud score. I mean, I love them to death. They're my friends, and they have amazing builds. But let's be truthful. They're not coming to finals.
No.
They don't have enough points because of the 1 or 2 shows that they put up amazing points to come to finals. So please don't let that discourage you guys from coming to finals, because I promise you, you're going to make a mistake this year. That first place trophy that you guys are going to get is going to be amazing.
Well, aside from that, if you're looking just at the list out there of your top 10s, a lot of the folks that are on those top 10 lists, they're not necessarily members, or they've only been to 1 or 2 shows. This has the possibility to be a very nice finals for a lot of the judges that are hosting it this year. I know my location,
David, third place is going to
5 or 6 people for sure. Jimmy, I heard last week or 2 weeks ago that you did not yet have a location, so I got to ask, did you actually get one yet for your folks?
I'm 99.9% sure that I do have one, and it's going to be an inside location too.
Even better.
So just
put up a little drywall on wheels and make that crowd loud score a little louder.
Are you actually having a finals this year? And I don't mean to be rude by that. I just had.
I've got one set up. I've got I'm doing something a little different at mine. I'm giving everyone a specific time frame to go, kind of like the other org that you and I used to do. You're going to get about 15 minutes. You're going to be able to do a sweep and your time, your 1 or 2 runs, and then I got to get to the next person. I don't want to be trying to get 20 people in the last hour all of a sudden because they're waiting to see what someone else did, or they're sandbagging on their first score. You're going to go right away. You're gonna give it balls to the walls all day, I hope.
I mean, I hope so. And it is what it is. But the biggest thing that people need to understand, we are going against different time zones.
Yeah.
So when we say that we're running it from, we'll just say, I don't know the exact time frame, but say we're running it from 8 to 5, and we shut it down at 5 o'clock. You better have the biggest and best numbers that you could possibly put up there, because the other organizations could be running till 7, 8, 9 our time, but yet it's still in that same parameters their time. So just remember, our times are not going to match up. So don't be mad come tomorrow when you look back on there and you took 3rd place because you didn't turn it up. I'm just giving you guys that little preemptive warning. Make sure you turn it up. Make sure that number is the best number you can put out, because 2 hours from now, when they're still running and you're asleep, they're going to beat your record or your number, and then you're going to be upset.
Right. Leave your sandbags at home. Bring your teammates with you, your friends with you to help you if you got problems. But one thing you do not want to bring, do not bring your sandbags with you, because it ain't going to help you. Not
at finals. I mean, I've said before, I've made that mistake one too many times. And no, you better turn it up your first run and be ready to rock and roll.
I did. Well, I didn't make that particular mistake, but I had the wrong frequency at your finals, Jimmy, and I got a 2nd place to show for it. But next day, I beat the same lady by another, almost a full dB, I think, like 0.8 or something. So
yeah, just remember, guys,
on point, man. Know what you're doing.
Yeah,
and remember what you're doing. I've been doing it for 30 years. Everybody makes mistakes. It sucks when you make the mistake wrong and it costs you 1st place at a national final or at a massive 100%. Show where there might be a cash payout or something. So it sucks getting 2nd.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sucks. It sucks losing, knowing that you could have turned it up just a little bit more and possibly have beat that person. That's my point behind it. Is like, you sandbag all year long, all you want to, do what you want to, play with the scores, let it go up, down, whatever you want to all year long. But when it comes to finals, don't do it. Turn that shit up, make it as loud as you could possibly do your first run. Your subs are going to be ready to roll. They're going to be cold. They're going to be You're going to get the best number you possibly can your very first run. So go balls to the wall the first time. Send it, like my nickname is. Send it. Turn that shit up.
Yep.
Go. So
if you don't send it right away, well, then you may have lost out already. So nothing I can change about it, because I don't get to control your system, unfortunately. I did sometimes, because there are times when I've gotten into the vehicles before and joked around with people and said, hey, I can get that louder for you. And sure enough, I sit in there just because, something changes just that little bit, but I might know something just a little bit more. I might sit up a little more. I might lean back. I might move a visor. I might do something else, but I'm not going to touch your gain. I'm not going to touch your volume or your deck. I might have your bass knob in my hand and crank it right away. I might just shock the system, so to speak, but I'm not doing anything more to it than you would do. So again,
there's a lot of
30 years of cars, and we get to know some little things. So take note of what Jimmy or I might tell you as well in the lane. We're judging everything.
You know what's even funnier than that, Dan?
We got some good knowledge.
My wife will look at them and say, hey, lead up, do this, turn your air conditioner on, turn it on, recirculate, open your door, fan your door, close your door. And they're looking at her like, whatever. And they do it, and they get louder. And they're like,
hey,
Like Mama's been in them lanes longer than Happy. You understand, Mama? No,
The judges sometimes are not the only ones who know it. Sometimes it's the wife, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the husband who happens to be sitting at the computer, or the buddy who is sitting at a computer. If you've got, if I'm out at a show somewhere, I'm going to pick on Shannon because Shannon just posted this in here.
Mhm.
If I'm on the mic and Shannon is on the computer and they've got the same vehicle as Shannon does, hey, I'm not going to say anything. I hope that Shannon tells them, hey, no, your door needs to be open this far, not this far. It's, it literally can be
all of them
a
though.
matter of inches. So it would be nice to be able to see all of that. So it's it's a good thing whenever you see it. And that's again what you always say, Jimmy, is we try and bring the fun back into the lanes. And if you're not having fun, you're kind of at the wrong show, because we're all trying to have fun at it. And
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Second or third place sometimes, or 10th, depending on the show. But it's always fun. Get there, you get to see your friends, your teammates. You help everybody. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry to be like that, but and I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize. But
No.
Everybody got stuck on first place. There has to be someone that takes second. There has to be someone that takes third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. If not, there's no competition. There's no fun behind it. If you're always going to take first place, you're going to get bored. I don't care what you say. I've watched some of the biggest names out there. Joe Price. I've watched, hell, Carlos at one point in time was ready to quit. I've watched quite a few of the big name people out there just get to the point where they were done. Greg Corbin doesn't even run really anymore at all, because his system is so outrageous that it's just no one could beat him. So it took the fun away from that. Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. We all want to get first place. We all do. We all want that number one position, whatever. But without that second, third, or fourth, or fifth, or so on, people behind us, supporting us, trying to get louder, it's not a sport. It's not fun. And people need to remember that it would be so shitty to that second or that third or that fourth place person because they lost by a DB. So what? They still showed up and they showed out. Thank you very much, and we appreciate you.
Yep. It's like our guy down there in the Omaha area that you and I know very well, Chris Kennedy. Last weekend, he finally got his 150.
Yes, 100%, dude.
He might have taken 7th place. I didn't look at the results. So Chris, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know what you played.
He took a couple first place, he took a couple second, and he took a couple. Yeah. So, I mean, scores matter. And yeah, absolutely. There you go. Perfect.
As Isaac just said, every score matters, whether it's first, third, 10th, 23rd, whatever. If you're shooting for your personal best, then that's a 140 at 18 hertz because you're in Typhoon. Or you're looking for that 145 in Port Wars because you've only got a single 6.5 or a single 8, or you're only running a small 500 watt amplifier. If you're looking for a personal gain, there you go. You can always battle yourself.
I only say that because for the last couple of years, I've watched at finals, DNR finals. I've watched that second or that third place person not show up because they didn't think they could beat that first place person.
Yep.
You've worked your ass off all year long. You spent that money all year long, and you did what you did all year long to get that second and to get that third. Be proud of what you got. Come up and get your award. Seriously, get your award and get what you have accomplished. I mean, Dan, everybody out here, we've all started out from the bottom and worked our way up. I remember getting that very first 45 or that very first 50 and so on and so on and so on and so on. Now, I still have my very first sub sitting right here on the floor in the box in the other room that I hit my very first 50 on.
Yep.
In my great minivan against a couple of people, but I'm not going to mention who. Maybe it might have been Dan.
I got the first one that Billy handed me from your show in Independence. And I know exactly where it is. It's sitting in my closet on one of my shelves right next to my big second place finals award. And I got a couple of my tag plates that were personalized sitting on the floor over here behind me. You know,
It's amazing, you know, honestly.
always nice to get an award. And unfortunately, yes, we only do hand out 1 through 3. However,
You know, maybe if we get enough sponsors, maybe that's something next year maybe we can work on. Maybe we could get enough sponsors, we could do top 10.
yeah,
And I'm not trying to copy off of anybody else, and I apologize if you take this wrong, but I mean, I know there's other organizations out there that do more than first through third.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, you know, anything could happen. We'll see. Just like
Maybe.
that. Right there. Right there.
Something like I said,
100%.
something we do 1 through 10 at the end of the year, the top 10 list. Everybody on the top 10 gets something. Maybe it's you know, whatever it happens to be. If you've gotten a personal best, or it's you are the one competitor who came to or had the most show entries or the most runs at a show in a certain class or something. So, you know, we got a lot of different ways to do things. So always looking for the options on that.
Absolutely. We're still growing. There's still a lot of ups and downs and still a lot of hiccups. Don't get that wrong. And, you know, we're never claiming to be the best of the best. And we're not out here trying to be the best of the best. We're just out here to have fun. We're out here for you guys to have fun as well. You know, I mean, yes, we're all judges. And don't get me wrong, there is a little port in the back of our brains where we have to make enough money to do what we do. But me, my wife, and probably 90% of the other judges are not out here trying to make money. We don't care. You know, hell, we're just here to have fun. Seriously. It's not about making money for any of us. It's about just having fun.
Believe me, if Jimmy and I were both here to make money at shows, we would be doing something else on a Saturday or a Sunday.
No.
Sorry,
Yes.
Billy. We don't make that much. After you drive, as far as Jimmy is going to be driving this weekend, he's going to drive 2/3 of the way across Missouri. So he's going to be doing 600 round trip, maybe 700 round trip, I would guess. Next weekend, I've got about 1,000. It's by the time I figure in gas and everything up to Fargo, back down to Lincoln, by the time Jimmy does this, by the time Billy does this, or any of the other judges going wherever they're going, as long as the show isn't in their backyard, you know, there are shows where I don't make any money. And I eat McDonald's on the way home, which
You're not lying on that.
If you follow my personal Facebook page on there, you see I rail against McDonald's all the time for their slow service, but you know, it gives me time to ponder, God, should I continue doing this? And yes, I should, because I love seeing guys and gals out there and helping you out. It's fun.
Love Kyle, love all the guys down there. You know, they're all doing amazing things. You know, and I gotta really appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody for showing us the love and support that, you know, they've given me, they've given Billy, they've given all the other judges out here. You know, it's fun. I mean, it really is. It's still there's some shows it's like, but you know, at the end of the day, it's fun. It really is. And it's like, well, hell, last weekend I went from my house all the way out to Olathe, Kansas, which was probably a 45-minute to an hour drive. And then I drove to Lincoln, Nebraska at a show. Then I drove home and then went to work the next day.
Yep.
And then this weekend, I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm going to Springfield, Missouri to have a show, then come back home and then do a show on Sunday and then come back home. And it's like, you know, I'm busy. I'm busy every weekend. So me saying that, it's fun, and it always will be fun behind it. But there is sometimes where I'm not promptly answering messages or responding to you guys, and I'm not trying to be rude, and I apologize, but I'm busy. I'm busy all the time. I barely get 2 minutes to say hi-bye to my lovely wife upstairs. And, it is what it is. And I'm not trying to play poor, pitiful me by this, but just be patient with me if I don't answer your message right away. So
That's why when I go to another show somewhere, one of the first things I do, I try and if it's a Base Wars show, I'm trying to find Jimmy and Sonia, because the next closest judge for me is probably, oh geez, it might actually even be Pop Tart, or it might be, that actually might be Brandon over in Indiana. So I'm traveling like 800
Also,
miles to get to them.
yeah,
Right?
sure.
Yeah, it'd be 800 miles for me to get to the next closest judge other than Jimmy. Some of the other judges, you're 50 or 60 miles away. So, it's a little easier. But when you get there, find out who the judge is. Go up, shake their hand, thank them for being there, thank them for their time, and say, hey, I'm working right now. I'll be up here in about an hour and a half. If you're still tweaking on something, perfectly fine. But make sure you say hi to them. At least let them know that you're there. And hey, I haven't seen Joe or Billy or Susie or Sally yet, but I know that they're here and they're coming up. So hopefully we'll see them at, they told me 20 minutes ago they'd be ready in 20. So we're going to see them here at 8 o'clock or 8:15 or whatever, or 4 in the afternoon. Make your presence known at these shows. Tell us where we're at, and we're going to be there. And
Driving almost 4 hours this weekend for a show. Yeah.
4 is easy.
This 4 is easy, yeah. Anything under 4 hours, that's like whatever, shit, no problem. I mean,
backyard
it's
show
not,
for me.
it is.
Again, the area that, and I don't want to make light of anyone else with 40 or 50 mile show radius that you've got, but
I agree.
Greg. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate that. With 4 hour drives, 4 hours, I can probably get to my Fargo show. It's about 250 miles. That's next weekend. I can probably almost get to Lincoln as well. That's about 220 miles.
See, Lincoln, Nebraska from my house is like 4 hours and 35 minutes.
I looked at it once and I was like, damn, why are they calling me? This is Jimmy's area. But I looked.
4 hours.
Like 4 hours. I'm like 4 hours and 6 minutes. I'm like, okay, literally 6 one, half dozen in the other here for that particular small geographic location that is literally right there for me and Jimmy. It's
that in between. But also remember, guys, sorry, not trying to interrupt you, but we are still looking for a judge for the Oklahoma area.
Yeah.
And up there. So if you guys know somebody, or maybe you're even interested, reach out to me and let's talk.
Definitely.
I want to sit down. I want to have some judges because I have quite a few people up there. Marcus Hall. I love you, Marcus. I'm sorry. I know I'm shitty at answering my messages, but I have quite a few people up there that are really wanting shows up in the Oklahoma area.
Mm-hmm.
The guys up there with all their donk cars, they're wanting to involve us with all their shows that they're having, and some pretty amazing shows up there. Yeah. But that's almost a 6-hour drive for me, and it's hard for me to go all the way up there because I lose my ass every time, and I'm sorry, but I do. I lose my ass every time. I drive up there 6 hours, I stay the night, I do the show, and then I come back home 6 hours. Between the room and 12 hours worth of drive time, I never make enough. And I don't mean to be that person, but at some point in time, you got to say no. But we are really honestly looking for some amazing people because I know there's somebody up there in Oklahoma. In the Oklahoma area, we kind of want that, that surrounding states a little bit to help us all out. So please just hit me up and we'll get
someone there. We got, and that. I want to, where's my little banner thing here for this? I got to throw on this banner thing here really quick because on the basewars.org website, we got a little link on there for franchises that shows our current judges. And it also shows where we're looking for current judges. So Jimmy just mentioned Oklahoma. If we could get someone in Seattle, if we could get someone in the Denver area, so Jimmy and I wouldn't have to travel out to Denver or Cheyenne, Wyoming, or Gillette or somewhere like that.
Maybe once or twice, but
Yeah, if we can get someone directly in Chicago or Milwaukee, if we could do the Northeast, if we can get Florida. I know Florida always seems to pop up in the chats and stuff. If we can get, let's say, another 8 or 10 judges over the next couple of years, that would be fantastic. We just got
stop it, great. Nice.
down in South Africa, so yeah, we can hopes and dreams. That's a good one. I like that one. We got a lot of hopes and dreams there. But yeah, we just opened up South Africa, and if you're not familiar with the Base Wars Africa page,
It's amazing.
Eden and Pumish are putting up, they've got some numbers and some vehicles there that I've said in the past, we don't have these vehicles. They don't have some of our vehicles. They don't have a Honda CRX. They don't necessarily have a Chevy Astro van. They don't have a Ford Explorer, to name some of the louder vehicles that we've got. But we don't have Peugeot 306. We don't have some of the little Fiats that they have down there.
The Fiat, that little Fiat is amazing. I was like, wow.
Got some
Wow. I mean, seriously, that Fiat was amazing. It was like, what the?
Yeah, and then some. It wasn't that. It was look at it and you're like, wow. And then you get a second look at it because you actually rewatch the video because it spawned twice, and you're like, oh wow, I didn't catch that the second time. And you're staring in at it just a little bit closer. The stuff that they have and the people that they've got on the top 10 list, I don't want to say they're more legit, but a lot of the stuff that I have seen from it and what I see in the big spreadsheet, it's got power ratings on it. And if you look at those results, they've got their power listed right behind it. So if they are in a Bandit or a Stealth class where our limit is 3K, they might only be doing 26 or 2,800 watts or 2,200 in some cases. I almost didn't want to put this up there, Greg, but I had to because, yeah, the Cougaran thing, yeah, we'll bring up some stuff there that some of you youngsters may not remember. But their vehicles there and the show quality of what I am seeing, they look like a Hinge show, a Hot Import Nights kind of show. It's well laid out. It's well done with the video. They're talkative. They're doing everything right. And if you haven't seen the Base Wars Africa stuff, check out their page. Go to their page. Go to their info on Facebook. Like it. Check out some of the videos. Check out their postings. It's all Base Wars. So you're going to see it on the main Base Wars page as well. But check out their stuff. It is fantastic.
100%.
It looks good. Looks a hell of a lot better than my stuff. Jimmy, you can comment on my stuff. My stuff does not look good.
It's pretty amazing. I was like, whoa, that's cool. How did they do that?
How are they doing this? How is this guy getting away with calling us ladies on here? Things like that.
Who's Jesse Johnson? I've heard of that name before, but I haven't seen him in such a long time. I thought he fell off the map.
Yeah, he's not very loud.
He found a girl and he fell in love, and nobody sees him no more. So
on here as well from a couple minutes ago here. Felipe, how are you doing tonight, sir? Hope you are doing well. I know Jimmy and I are doing pretty well. Jimmy messaged me about 7:02 tonight after I threw in just one little comment. He's like, dude, come help me out. I can't find Dan Current. I can't find Billy. Sonia doesn't want to do this.
No, Sonia never does this, ever.
Well,
I've tried to have shows with her, and she's like, nope.
If we all got our wives, girlfriends, husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends,
they wouldn't get along. They would argue. They would not have a good time. And no, we're not even going to go down that road. No.
Yep.
Still, trust me, because I've tried to have a girls' night, so we could just sit back and kind of relax and watch. But And
we
nothing,
got-
my wife doesn't get along with everybody. I'm not saying that. My wife loves 90% out.
if
There's
we got-
a small 10% that she doesn't like, and I ain't gonna lie.
yeah, okay, that's true.
But
Imagine if
but-
we got, imagine getting, and I hope I'm not forgetting anyone. If we got Melissa and Tina and Belle and Sonia, and I'm trying to think of any of the other spouses that I know, or girlfriends, or significant others that I know. If we got all them on here, you'd have like 8 people on here, and it's going to be like Billy at finals, looking at all our screens, trying to differentiate everything. I think they would all be talking over each other, which we always do anyway. Even you and I do, or Billy and you, or me and Billy, or whoever.
it's hard not to.
It is definitely hard not to. But I think it would be rather interesting to have it happen once, maybe twice. Maybe
Oh, I
twice.
did. I did it. Did you not see that?
I
There was an episode where I think there was like 3, maybe 4. I can't remember. I
I think
apologize.
you had 3 or 4 of them on here.
I think I had 3 or 4 of them, and I've tried because there's my wife, a couple other of the wives. We have Denise from Slamology. We have some of the bigger name females all want to come together, but they don't want to come together. So it's like, no.
It's
No,
like,
no.
all right, hey, we'll be back in 2 and 2 with we'll be back with the Chuck Woolery, the 2 and 2 with Sonia next, and the next segment after that we'll have this person, and the next segment after that we'll have this person.
I kind of thought about that, but they're all going to argue, and they're all going to have something to say about the previous comment or this or that. Or it's like, no, thank you, no, thank you. And it's not worth it. I like it when they all see each other like 3 or 4 times a year. They're all like, "Hey, how are you?" Yeah, okay, and they keep it moving. That's great.
They can handle each other for one day at Slam, and that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's.
Yeah.
I don't want to be mean, but maybe it's they can't handle us anyway.
They can't handle each other. How about let's just put it out there. They can't handle each other.
I wouldn't say that, but I got a pretty big personality. You got a pretty big personality. Billy's pretty subtle for the most part, but they can't handle us 24/7, 365, let alone handle another judge or another judge's spouse who have to put most of their energy to handling their own side of things.
Could you imagine what that poor woman upstairs has to deal with? I mean, hell, she's been with me for 31 years.
I was going to say, isn't it 30 or 31
31 years. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And trust me, she's put up with the bad, the worst. And then, okay, now we're back to the good, maybe the good, but still, it's been there. It's
Man,
way.
I got to fix my green screen, man. You're starting
Oh,
to see
your
my
green screen
green
fell out.
here.
See, that's why I don't do that anymore. I kind of gave up on it. Shit. Everybody's like, that's fake. No, it's not fake. It's all real. Everything
Well, we're just doing this.
that's the man game.
I'm
It's all
changing
real.
the line. Now I got the other way. Now I got lines. There we go. So,
Yeah. I gave up on it. Like I said, I have that whole big ass curtain. It's right there.
I should just put a black background on there, except my chair wouldn't sit in there. It'd look like I'm floating in midair or something. Give me one of them little saucer things that Yoda had in one of the movies from Star Wars.
So, but no,
Yeah, it would
Sorry.
be interesting to have the ladies on again. Maybe a once a year thing, a Mother's Day kind of thing.
possibly. That actually, they don't sound like a bad idea. To be truthful with you.
Could do a Mother's Day competition thing. Get all the moms on that put up with their kids, myself included. Because my old neighbors, where I was growing up, they still wonder why I am doing this 35, 40 years later, because they remember me as a 15, 16-year-old kid. I had seats sitting in the driveway, back seats sitting in the driveway. I had all kinds of crap just laying out. Mom and Dad never cared as long as they could get into the garage, because my car was never in the garage. But as long as Mom and Dad could get into the garage, they were okay with it. But all my neighbors all the time, they still, when my mom goes back to my hometown for anything, hey, how's Dan doing? Is he still ripping apart cars? And I'm like, yeah. So
Yeah,
that's their memory of me. That's what they remember. They don't remember the other stuff, which is good, because I was not always a good kid, but they remember the car being ripped apart in 1,000 pieces, which still.
It's only because you can't see the Miller Lite ones that are hanging up here behind you. I got all the I have all the Miller Lite ones and then Jack Daniels ones all right here in front of me.
There you go.
This is my man cave. There's all kinds of lights everywhere. It is what it is. I'm not supporting any brand, or I'm not out here trying to support anybody, but it's just mine and it's me. Sorry. Hell, I don't even drink Budweiser no more. I ain't drunk Budweiser probably the last 5 years, but my wife likes the Budweiser seltzer.
Hey, if it's free and cold, or better yet, someone else is buying, I'll pretty much drink whatever.
I'm still bougie. I gotta have my beer. If it's not my beer, I won't drink it.
If it's not a Miller Lite, you won't, huh?
No, pretty much. Maybe a Coors Light every once in a great while. I think I could deal with the Coors Light. But
you're missing out, man. Lots of good beers, not just the big 5 or 6 out there anymore, but there's some decent stuff out there. So,
sir, I've tried a little bit of everything, and trust me, I have tried, but I haven't gave up.
Jeremy, what's going on tonight? How are you doing?
Sorry, I got people blowing my phone up.
Hey, Jeremy, by the way, I need you to be on maybe next week. I got to call you out on something, but I got to make sure I'm calling you out for the right thing, because I don't have it sitting here in front of me. But I think you might have a record on something.
I'm just going to say, between me and you, Dan, because I know you're redoing a lot of them scores and a lot of that stuff, pay attention to the frequencies in the top 10 list. Oh. There's some frequencies in the top 10 list that shouldn't be there.
There are. And those,
I'm not going to call it out or just start a big discussion, everybody, but we as judges, we see that mistakes were not perfect, but there is some mistakes in the top 10 list that need to be addressed because of the frequencies.
It's a subtle record that I don't know if you want mentioned, Jeremy. I'll message you about it, but I found it rather amusing. But yeah, and what you're talking about there, Jimmy, is in Typhoon, for example. I know that there is a score on there that says, I want to say it might say 27 hertz or 37 hertz for some reason.
Well, there's some of them that are above 53 hertz.
And there's a couple that are above 53 as well. So that's on you, me, other judges who don't have the frequency cap set up in TermLab. It should red flag something like that.
I shut them down.
We don't always catch it. And if it's in something like Port Wars, Port Wars doesn't have a cap. If you want to run...
It does. Yes, it does.
Now it does.
I've always ran every class out there with a cap, except for the Pro.
Ran it that way. See, I still have it set at
every way.
From 3 years ago.
That's where, I'm sorry, and I'm not starting a big discussion, but that's where all the judges have had that indiscretion, and it hasn't been the same. That's why Billy came out with his new rule book, so everybody has to follow it, because every score or every class that I've ever ran has always been under that frequency. I don't care if it's music, I don't care if it's burp, I don't care what it is. If it's not the pro class, it has to be under 53 hertz, period. And there's a couple of judges that haven't been running it like that. So we've heard the feedback. That's why Billy
has not for Port Wars and Old School. I still have that set at 80, just because that's what we used 3 years ago. But everything else, Typhoon 0 to 19, Cyclone 20 to 29, etc. for that. The music classes as well.
Well, there's that one class that I guess
those are all set. But those are the only 2 classes that I had higher, other than Twister, which of course was set at 60 up until probably next year with the new guidebook coming out. We've had a discussion about that in the Base Wars managers chat. Pretty much everything is going to be set next year for 53 hertz.
Yeah. If it's
So-
above 53, you need to go on the pro classes, and
Yep.
that's what the pro classes are set up. And we're talking everything from music classes to demo
Yep.
classes to no matter what you do. If you're above 53 hertz, you need to go on the pro classes.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. And it's not Dan's rules. That's not Jimmy's rules. That's not whatever's rules. That's Base Wars as a whole.
Everything. That
We're
is
going
rules.
Billy's put a lot of time and effort into actually making a rule book for not just the competitors, but for the judges as well to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll put a lot of that he said, she said bullshit to bed. And I apologize for my language, but there's been a lot of that this year. And it's kind of,
And
it needs to stop.
I will admit I am at the center of one of the big discussions about that because we do not have a guideline or rule that said something or did say something, and it was a gray area. I said do it. Other judges said no, you can't do it. And it was a big discussion for a long time. It is changed. We've got specifics on it now. I'm not saying I was wrong or I was right, but we have specifics. And you, as a judge, whether it's you, Jimmy, or Greg and Stacy, or Melissa, or whoever, myself included, we now have that responsibility to pass that on to Jeremy and Isaac, and I'm going up the list here, Felipe and Jesse, and whoever else is the competitor, to pass that info along and let them know that, hey, check out that basewars.org website, get the new guidebook, because starting on October 5th, at and after finals, that's the way that it is.
The day after, I will have a show.
And it literally is set that way. That's the way it has to be. So we've got some definitive stuff.
And just remember, the biggest and best thing about finals, that world record.
Yeah.
That world record. So if you want to set a record, and remember, this record cannot be touched until the next year at finals again. So if you want to put your name on that record for Typhoon, for Cyclone, for Boss, for Monster, for any of them classes out there that only you can have for the whole year, first of all, remember, turn it up.
Yep.
Turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, because there's going to be other class or other people running a couple hours behind us. So don't be mad because you thought that world record was your number, and 2 hours later, somebody from the West Coast or the East Coast or the North Coast or all the coasts set up better numbers than you. So just remember, please, no holds barred. But yes, the number will not be taken down, and it will stay there all year long. All year long. Until it is, well, let me rephrase that. Not all year long. It will stay there until it's broken. But the only way it can be beat or broken, however you want to say it, is at finals next year. So if you put up the best number, Isaac, we'll just pull you out. If you set up the best number, and we'll just say Monster, and I can't even remember if you run that class, but we'll just say Monster. If you set that world record for Monster, it will stay that way until next year.
Mm-hmm.
And next year at finals, if nobody beats it, Isaac keeps that record.
Yep.
The record does not go away, and it's not being erased or whatever. The records are meant to be broken, not erased. And that's kind of a thing for me, because there was something that happened to me that really irritated the hell out of me. And I'm not going to say who, what, or what organization, but I had a record that was set that nobody else still has broken, but it was erased. So I lost my stuff because it was erased at the end of the year. So,
yep. And I'm pretty sure I know which one you're talking about there, Jimmy. And it's, yeah, I was questioning the logic behind that as well, because I thought something else as well, kind of the same way that you did. We were thinking the same thing from kind of the same perspective versus what they thought. And yeah,
I've always had that same argument: was a record was meant to be broken, not erased.
Yep.
And I'm sorry if you don't understand that. Compete a little bit more, and you'll understand that. And I'm not trying to be rude when I say that, because I know there's people that don't, and I appreciate you. Hey, Garrick, how are you? But when you work and work your butt off with all the stuff that you do to put that number up, and that number is an amazing number, it shouldn't be taken away until somebody beats it.
Correct.
And that's why, Billy's on board with it. Well, Billy has set the record, but it is what it is, So deal with it.
It is a nice thing to have. And when you see your name next to what says world record with, and I don't want to bring baseball into it, but when you see it without that asterisk next to it, meaning something else, I don't need an asterisk next to my name. I'm perfectly happy when someone beats it, because that just fuels me more to beat them again.
Absolutely.
And I'm fairly certain that there's a friendly rivalry between RP and Carlos and Alan and a few other people that are out there. They all want that world record. They all want to be the world's loudest.
But when you get to that point, though, that every 10th matters.
Oh, it's not even tens. It's hundreds.
Hundreds of a 10th. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, seriously.
It is. It's man. Wow. Did we measure this, and did we measure that? And
yes, Brett. Absolutely.
It's everything.
100%, Brett. Yes, you have to be a member to set the record.
Yep.
So you're not setting the record on Sunday. You are setting the record on Saturday, which the only people that can run on Saturday are Base Wars members only.
Yep.
So, somebody for like me that I'm having a show on Sunday, you can't set that record on Sunday because it's going to be set at Base Wars Finals.
Yep.
To be at finals, you have to be a member anyway. So that's going to stop all that. But yes, sir.
It's going to be just that way. The way Billy said it, I think 2 weeks ago when he had you on with you, Jimmy, was it's only at finals. And obviously, like you just said, I'm reiterating it. You got to be a member to set the record, because to set the record, you got to do it at finals.
Yes.
And to be there, you got to have your 5 shows now.
Bump it up to 7, I believe, is what I've heard.
That's
yes, sir.
What I've been reading.
Yeah.
The only other thing that changed, for the most part, obviously the extreme classes, we're going to have 2 of them, and membership went up to $30. So not 25, but 30.
Oh my God, $5! It breaks.
So I'm going to get you for an extra buck. Excuse me, not even a buck. I'm going to get you for an extra 75 cents at a show over the course of your 7 shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
75 cents. I can almost buy a nickel gumball for that.
I mean, barely anymore.
And Greg, I'm going to throw this one up there for you. This is from Greg and Stacy out there. So they'll have Eric and Melissa at their finals. So they'll be running a kickoff show. I'm kind of hoping to do the same at mine. That's why I want to have everybody get their stuff in. Then I'll start running some other stuff. Brett, yes. Yes, you will. And with 1, 2, 3, $4. Well, maybe not $4 signs. That'd be a lot of finals entries, but you've got a lot. But you're not the record holder for the year. I think you're in second right now.
But he's been sandbagging all year, though. There's a difference.
Brett
is my boy, and I love him to death. That man needs to quit sandbagging and hurting people's feelings.
Yeah, David, you missed it. 7 shows next year.
They're loud, but they're not. Wait till he actually turns that shit up.
It will be interesting to see who can really turn it up a lot at finals.
C pillar. No, he is a C pillar. Remember that.
He does, doesn't he?
Yes, he is C pillar, and he is very, very loud. I mean, there's been quite a few times I was like, damn, getting demos and just It's amazing. That build is amazing, and he constantly is working on it to make it louder. So yeah, I'm just gonna say, if we're not there, Walker, we're definitely looking for somebody in that area. I promise you. And I don't have the map in front of me, so I don't want to quote wrong. So I apologize on that. But there's like 4 or 5 areas that we're still lacking in that we're trying to find judges. So I appreciate it. We're trying.
Brett, with your number thing that you threw up there before, yeah, you're
I'm telling you, David.
You got a lot. Dang.
I'm telling you, people just don't know. Brett is going to hurt some people's feelings this year.
Yep. Jeffrey is over there. He's got stuff. He posted on some stuff today. That again, we are kind of privy to be seeing in the managers chat. We do have a separate managers chat for little things, for issues or questions. So we do talk about those things live without bringing up managers chat generally too often. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But be polite. There you go.
It was great. See, Greg would give him a run for his money too, though. I'm not gonna lie. Greg, if that's still Greg that's commenting, I apologize. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool to see Brett and Greg go against each other.
I would. I'd pay $1 to see that in the
hey,
jar.
Greg, I seen that you were selling your stuff. Can I have the actual piece that actually goes in the back window? All of it. It's like this, the 6.5s, the 8s, all that with the board that I could just mount right up in mine.
No. I'll answer that one for him. No,
probably not. That's one part I'm lacking still, and I'm working on that. Might
have to do something myself for the truck for next year on that. Oh,
so 90% of it already. No, I don't want the speakers. I just want the housing of the speakers.
I'll take the used crimp terminals.
We might have to talk, Greg. We seriously might have to talk, because I've been thinking about doing something. Yeah.
I got to find a different vehicle for that. I might have to find a van.
Yeah.
I might have to find.
Where's the Festiva though? We all miss the Festiva. What the fuck? I mean, seriously, you are hurting my feelings with the Festiva, dude.
Oh no, you're gonna see it here in a second.
They all don't know. The Festiva was like mine and my wife's very first vehicle. But no. She had a Celebrity, but the Festiva. We used to run bicycles back in the back of that car. We used to have so much fun in the back of that Festiva. Oh, there's the dash kit. The whole dash kit.
The whole dash, Jimmy. The whole dash.
It is.
It's sitting here by the TV. It is literally sitting here by the TV. Nothing's been modified on it yet. Nothing's been painted.
Look, Dan. Look. There's the speakers for it. Infinity Kappas. The old school. Look. No. Look. The old school Infinity Kappas, dude.
Can't do that, man. The silk domes on those Infinity Kappas, they're not bright enough for me. I need the titanium on the JBLs. I'll still run a Harman Kardon product. I love HK.
We had that in ours.
I love my JBLs.
Them came out of my Mazda.
Too many memories with the Festiva. It literally is ripped apart in the shop, probably in about 527 pieces right now.
I want to daily drive that car again. Tell it to me. Does it run and drive still?
It still does. I just got a transmission put in it last year, because as I was going to come down to I got one of your shows, actually. I was just south of Omaha, right by Ice Cream Cruise place.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell the name of the racetrack is there, where they don't allow us anymore because they're a bunch of
or the ice cream,
whatever. It still runs, but I dropped the transmission right there and had to wait for Mom to come down to pick me up. So Mom grabbed my truck and drove down, and we went back up into Omaha, got a trailer, went back down south about 20 miles, picked it up, had a crappy lunch at an Applebee's, and yeah, it was a good way for Mom to waste a Sunday.
The old Papa Smurf. Telling you, we used to have so much fun watching you run this silly car.
Man,
Like, it's so many. Me and my wife had so many memories in that car.
there are a million little
Not
things
that
about
one,
it. And yeah, Larson actually messaged me about it last night, offered me $500, and I said, yeah, $1 per piece, and you still wouldn't get all the pieces.
Tell Larson no.
There's a couple of us that have been looking for them still, but they're not out there.
It had a 1.3 engine in it.
Yep.
1.3. I'm telling you, that thing was like
80 miles an hour down the interstate. That speedometer is pegged all the way down on it all the time. I got pictures of that. I don't have any video of me driving it that fast, but I'll take some video when I throw everything back in.
I'll try to find some actual photos of me and my wife back in the day, because I was still riding BMX bicycle back then with all my friends, and we had like probably 7 bikes in the back. We had the hatch open, and we would just stick the bikes in the back of it. It would be me, my wife, and like probably 3 other guys trying to squeeze in there, plus like 15 bikes back there.
I know that you can physically fit 3 engines in the hatch for that vehicle because I've seen it done.
We used to have so much fun with that little car. I mean,
The cars run forever.
It was like $5 to fill up your gas tank, and we'd fill that thing up, and we would just drive for weeks with that little stupid tank. It was amazing.
I still get almost 40 out of it. I get high 39s out of that car for mileage still with 200,000 miles on it. It's 30 years old.
I want that damn car. I'd have to paint it though, because I can't stand the blue that it is. But
yeah, but the blue works, man. It's it's a Smurf car. It's not like this color. It's more the darker blue, but still, it works. I might paint it though. That's the one thing that I might actually do to it, but I'm thinking it would lose some of its character if I did that. So
not if it was purple and green, though.
I've thought about that. I've thought about purple and green on the front and the orange and yellow on the back. I don't know if Billy's going to come up with, or if Kicker, who gives us these fantastic tents, by the way, thank you, Kicker, for all of this stuff, all around us here. Not Jessica and Carlos, but
Carlos, yeah.
They help us. They sponsor Base Wars through that, and if you see all the Kicker stuff, that if you really zoom in on that stuff, you're going to see Kicker emblems all over the place on it, and the word Kicker, and our judges' shirts. Highly recommend some Kicker stuff lately. I know you got a Kicker build, Jimmy, and I've been working on one. Just did an Orion build in one of our vehicles.
Is it my daily? Is it well? It's daily no more.
We're working on a Kicker one pretty soon, so.
I love my little pickup. Well, my pickup truck. I say little pickup truck. My little pickup truck. I love it. It's amazing. Yeah.
Same thing I got. It's the Dodge Ram. Yours is just bigger. Yours is a 25 or 3500.
25.
Okay, I was gonna say I thought yours was the middle one, the 25. So
yes, sir.
Beats mine being a 15, but they get the job done, and it's better than my little Toyota because I can now finally fit everything into my truck without tipping it upright and sliding it at an angle. I can just slide my whole tent in and it fits.
Yeah, right into the back, stack on my tables, my totes, everything, and then the rest goes in the back seat.
The only thing I actually put in the back seat right now, I'll put in my what I'm calling a gig bag, which basically has all of my term lab and my laptop stuff, paperwork. But other than that, unless I'm bringing an overnight bag, I don't have to put anything in the back of my back seat. It's really
the only thing that goes back there for me is my TV and my PA speakers.
I got it just perfect in there because I don't bring as much extra stuff to a show. I bring the basics, and basically everything else that doesn't fit in the bed of the truck, it's in my gig bag or it's in my overnight bag, and it all fits.
With your TV.
TV goes in the bed.
No.
TV goes in the bed.
I got a
40-inch
55-inch
I use, and
TV.
It fits perfectly. I'm not
I got a
bringing.
I got a 55-inch TV.
I'm not bringing that big 75-inch one, man. That ain't happening. That would be just
That's
a wind
small.
sail out there. That would fly
There's
out and everything.
There's an 85-inch right there.
There you go.
But yeah, no.
I use that one to play video games. I sit about
The only
4 feet
time
away.
that TV ever gets turned on is when I'm playing Xbox.
I sit about 4 feet away from it, and I get my PC. hooked up. I'm doing the same thing, man. I'll just sit there, and I got this gigantic screen right in front of me, and I got to look all over the screen like this to make sure I'm seeing everything.
Where my hand is right there, it's hard
video
to.
games.
That's a recliner right there. Where that
Nice.
hand is. Well, I don't know if you can see the hand or not, but right there is a recliner that I normally turn sideways, and then I
Right.
have the big 85-inch TVs on a huge like. Here's the fun part about it, because I sit there sometimes like during the basketball season, because I'm a huge basketball fan. I do this,
Oh yeah,
and it completely just turns and moves.
I would be doing very similar things with mine.
Yeah, it's
Mine sits there, and mine's kind of nice. I got the it's weird because it's you can't see because it's too dark in here, but it's a 3-layer pedestal, and then it's got an arm in the center that the TV is mounted to. So I can throw my modem and my router on one shelf, and I can have my amp and center channel on another shelf, and whatever else I need, 4K DVD or whatever, or my regular DVD or my old. Yes, I still do have a VHS player. That's why I still have some old VHS tapes from the 80s and 90s that are not available on DVD or streaming. So I do still have some stuff like that. And
Faces of Death are too old. Oh, nobody wants to see that.
it's fun. It's fun to keep all that old stuff. It's like old school car audio stuff. You find something that's old and classic, like an old Phoenix Gold amp or an old Orion amp, and you throw that stuff up there and you start a collection. It's a fun time.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, you gotta have the show for a minute. I gotta go pee. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta go.
Go for
Sorry.
it. I will go over some show stuff for a little while here then to talk about the shows coming up this weekend that we've got, because we got a lot of them. As mentioned, Jimmy has 2 shows this weekend. He's got one over in Springfield that is at GP Audio. I believe that one is called the Barn Yard or Barn House. Barn House. I'm looking at it now. Here we go. So he's got that one coming up. And on Sunday, he's got one back over outside of Kansas City, where he lives there, but in Lenexa, Kansas. Richard's got his regional West Coast show happening in Vegas this weekend at Killer Sounds. That is also on Sunday. So 2 Sunday shows, Jimmy and Richard. Richard's is his finals on the West Coast. That is not Base Wars finals. That is just his regional finals. So I want to make sure to get that kind of squared away and mentioned properly. I've got a little show in Huron called Getting Down on the Farm this Saturday. Joking about that. I want to be there at 3:00. I want to have it all done at 4. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Yeah, not going to happen that way. I'll be there around 10:30, 11. We'll get it done by 4:30, 5 o'clock, hopefully. Go get some good eats afterward. Not sure where yet, but we'll figure something out. Later on Saturday as well in Manchester, Tennessee. I'm not sure if that is Pop-Tart or who that is, because it is between Chattanooga and Nashville. I'm not sure who's running that one, but Base Wars has got one there this weekend, which they're calling the 4th annual Legends Meet. It's at the Coffee County Fair. And again, that is in Manchester, Tennessee this weekend. Brandon on Saturday also has his little regional show that is coming up. That is going to be in Marion, Indiana. It's at Ballard Fields. So you folks there in the Ballard area, you know exactly where we're talking about. He's got a show there probably, I would say once a month, if not maybe even a little more. So Tony, your folks, some of them might want to swing over a little west, get into Indiana and take care of that. The other show that is happening this weekend is Saturday as well. These are all been Saturday and Sunday, by the way. So Saturday up in Grant, Michigan, we got Jim and Bell, and they're going to be having a little show up there. Their show in Grant, Michigan, which I'm zooming out right now to get a good location on that. It is northwest of Grand Rapids, so the western side of the state toward Lake Michigan for you. Swing on up over there, go see your judges. Thank your judges for having the shows and getting you the time to do that. And there we go. Thank you, Greg. I didn't see that on there until I just got back onto the main screen here. So you're doing the show in Manchester. Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. Everybody go out, see your judges this weekend. Have fun with them. Try and get loud. And if you can't get loud, well, at least try. But make sure your friends, your teammates, make sure your judges are having a good time at the show.
Don't forget your judge. I'm just going to say being a judge. Don't forget your judge sitting back there.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, as being an ex-competitor, and I hate saying that ex because I'm not done, but as being a competitor that hasn't competed for a while, we get bored sitting back there. We appreciate you guys coming and saying hi and saying we love you and just coming and hanging out with us for a couple minutes. Even if it's just for a couple minutes, just come and hi, Michael, or coming and just saying hi and just hanging out, you know. But don't forget your judge. Just remember, they sit there all day long. You know, all day long, they slave for you behind that monitor.
Bring me a great Powerade or a brisk iced tea.
Yeah, you know,
Bottle of water, whatever, a sandwich if we haven't been able to get up for lunch or forgot to pack a lunch or something. Whatever you can. I don't care if it's a bag of chips.
I mean, sometimes just saying hi is amazing. You know, I mean, seriously, just taking time out and just coming back and saying hi. That makes it worthwhile sometimes.
Yeah, there you go. Michael, again with that one. Yeah, bring Jimmy some ribs.
I don't know about that, but
oh, actually, if it's not ribs, ribs of filet.
Look at Billy.
If it's not ribs made of filet, the guy who I haven't seen in Jimmy, you see Antonio more than I do, but
Antonio Ortiz.
Oh God,
the man is the master behind that. The master.
The food that he can make, and I've only sampled it once about 3.5 years ago.
You know, it's funny because
I got a little bite. I got
a lot of my shows. He actually still cooks, and there'll be people that just don't know because he'll make like burritos, and he'll wrap them up in aluminum foil and he'll put them inside their coolers, and they'll be sitting there, and everybody will be looking at him. I'm like, dude, y'all are passing it up. Don't miss these burritos. And they're just looking at me like, whatever. But you're a witness. Antonio is the man. I'm telling you, that man could cook.
There you go.
That man could cook. He was our fire for sure. For sure.
Food and or drink for your judges. And maybe at the end of the day, the adult beverage drink. But otherwise, water, sodas. Well, maybe not so much as sodas. They dehydrate, but water.
I like soda.
Water, Powerade, whatever.
But yeah, no, 90% of the time, you know, we're there. We're slaving. I don't want to say slaving. That's not the proper words. But we're there. We're having fun as well. But it's hard for us to get away and go to the bathroom, take a drink, eat a sandwich. So, you know, just come by and say hi.
Yeah.
It makes a difference. It really does. It makes a difference.
Michael, to answer that score or that,
you'll have to go look on the basewars.org.com.
Yep. Heading out there, you see that little ticker on the bottom of the screen that's driving on by right there. You go find that basewars.org. The top scores are going to be on there, and that's actually going to be the first thing that pops up on there. That's part of the homepage for it. Is those top 10s because we want to make sure that everybody knows who's in the top 10.
And they're not like I had a show yesterday. Your name's not up there today. It takes us a couple days to get stuff up there. So don't message me tomorrow and be like, hey, my score wasn't up there. Give it a minute, please. Just
True.
at least give it a week. If it's not up there after a week, then message me and say something. But remember, we don't have that automatic database where everything is pre-uploaded. So just remember, give us at least a week. If it's not there, just give us a week. I
And
know.
if you're number 2, Greg, are you actually number 2? Let me look. Let's see.
Number 2 what?
Shoes,
In what class?
goat, hurricane, kids. Hey, God, those are some loud kids.
No. Never mind. We're not going to have this discussion. Not going to have this discussion because it will be nonstop. Nope. Greg, if you want to know your scores, go on basewars.org.com, just like everybody else, or message Dan, and he will tell you. Nope. Look. Nope.
Oh, geez, look at that. He's not number 2. He lied. The disappointment. You can almost sense the disappointment here.
Look what I'm gonna do. Look. What do you say? You get.
I'm just as I'm going through, and I want to point out one more time here that I'm seeing in a couple of those classes toward the bottom, and I don't want to say the bottom of the list because that's not true. It's alphabetically toward the bottom.
Yes, sir.
Again, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3. And in trunk, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4. In the unleashed and warlord area, I'm seeing no less than out of about 30 names, because it's top 10 and those 3 classes, I'm seeing about 10 of them out of the folks from South Africa. Again, go to the Base Wars Africa page, folks. Check out their scores. Check out the top 10s on them. Check out their builds.
You guys are going to be upset because they're putting up some crazy numbers out there. I'm just telling you. Not crazy, and I don't mean that in the wrong way, but
No,
yeah,
they're crazy.
y'all better get to work. That's all I'm going to say. Y'all better get to work. As competitors, y'all better get to work. Because just like Billy mentioned last week, Germany's coming on eventually. We have some other states coming on. You know, y'all better watch out. There's other countries, there's other states, there's other continents. I don't know how to, I probably didn't say that right.
No, other areas, other countries and continents. I've talked with, I entertained the question from a gentleman in New Zealand. I gave him Billy's contact information.
Mm-hmm.
Germany was announced, like you just said here. So
yes, sir.
Hopefully we might see Germany early 2025.
I believe that. Yeah.
That's kind of what I would hope for. I had a conversation with Kiera out of South Africa earlier. I don't remember. Apologize, Kiera, if it was earlier this week or last week. My days are a blur right now. That they've got some vehicles there that I would just say have been out for a couple of years or maybe longer, that were loud 5 or 6 or 7, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that are coming back.
Wally, I'm sorry, Dan. Wally, yeah. I will just say to answer this comment. Yes, you're right, but in that same sense, they still have to abide by the same rules, the same standards, and the same things that everybody else has to. So if they're over there killing us, y'all need to step your game up. And I'm sorry to be like that, but it's true. There's some loud people getting ready to come to Base Wars. Y'all are going to feel what the rest of the world is doing. And we're not loud. Yeah, we're not loud.
I'm just before too. You know, take away from Wally there for a split second to go to Isaac. Yeah, they've got different cars, but so do we. They don't necessarily have this. Again, they don't have the CRX or the
We had talked about
Astro, and
The Honda,
they've got the Peugeots, they've got the Fiats, they've got some different Volkswagens and different Fords. So yeah, they make a huge difference, and yeah, it has been seen everywhere. And it's not just us that's going to see it; it's been the other orgs as well.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
some of the things that we do see out on Facebook, they might not be able to compete with us in the same style of category. So, you know,
Billy will keep it fair for everybody, and I'm just going to say,
boss or something. But
let's be truthful. Billy will keep it fair for everybody. If there's a class being dominated by, we'll just say somebody in South Africa, and I only say that because that's the subject that's been brought up. But if there's a class where somebody, we'll just say Beast, there's somebody in Beast class in South Africa that is just dominating that score. Billy's going to look to make sure that they're in the same parameters, the same frequency, the same power, the same cone area, the same everything that everybody else is in. And when it comes right down to it, if they're doing everything right, it is what it is. And I mean, I know it kind of gets frustrating to you guys because nobody wants to lose, but that goes back to my conversation earlier. There's got to be a second, there's got to be a third, there's got to be a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh, or whatever.
Yeah. And like you're saying, Isaac, yeah, Panda is one of them.
Yes,
That's
Panda,
one of them.
Panda is a. Here's a funny Panda story for you. I was running USAC about a while back. I'm not even going to say how long it was, but way, way, way back. And I was running my green minivan. I had 2 DD supercharged competition series, the big boys, the DDs. It was my friend's subs that he let me borrow. And I had like, I want to say 2 of the DDM4s on it, the DDM4A on each sub. So, I mean, they were like, it was crazy. The amount of power that I was pushing through these subs. I come in the lanes, I run, I put up an amazing number.
Mm-hmm.
Beer Based Mafia came behind me in a Panda with 2 8-inch subwoofers and demolished my score. And I'm being dead serious when I say, I think I put up like a 56. It was like the best number I've ever put up in my life. And Beer Based Mafia came behind me with a Panda with 2 8-inch subwoofers and like a 1,000-watt amplifier and just demolished my score.
Every once in a while, that will happen. And
so I understand what everybody like Isaac saying the Panda. But you guys are forgetting about the Corsica that I ain't seen in the lanes in a long time. Nobody else overseas has that Corsica, but that Corsica was a game changer.
Yep.
The CRX, the other Honda. There's quite a few vehicles that we have.
Yeah.
That is nasty. Yes. Beer Based Mafia dudes at 60. Yeah, I'm telling you, it was a 1,000-watt amplifier with 2 8-inch subwoofers, and they did way over a 60. I think it was like a 61, 62, and it hurt my feelings. I didn't even want to compete no more. And me and Eric and all them from Beer Based Mafia have became huge friends ever since then.
Mm-hmm.
Some smart people behind Beer Based.
And something else to go along with that is, remember, you can import those vehicles now. They're past the 25-year thing. If you want to get a new Panda, why? The new ones are not loud.
Remember the Tiger van? Remember when Clint Bertram,
Yep.
say that right? Clint Bertram brought the Tiger van to Midwest SPO.
Yep, because I always call him Clinton Gold. I always say Clinton Gold Man.
He could roll his back windows down. He killed that Chaos class. There was a couple other classes that he was just unbeatable in because of that vehicle. And I understand because he kicked my ass in one of the classes. So I definitely understand. But just remember, if they have them, so can you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah,
You might have
I'm not saying it's fair or it's right, but go spend the money. Go have your vehicle imported from China or from wherever else and get your vehicles here. There's hell, I don't even think you have to have them imported anymore. There's so many of them common over here in the States. They're probably local to you and you don't even realize it.
Yeah. If you want to use a little key truck, go for it. You want to use a little Honda Acti or a Honda City, go for it.
I'm telling you, the Tiger vans are amazing.
Like I'd love to see something like that in our lanes. I am a small vehicle fanatic when it comes to those little things in a lot of cases. Case in point, I've owned, as far as small hatchbacks, I've owned anything smaller than an Escort from the 90s and early 2000s. I've probably owned 8 or 10 vehicles like that. The best one that people know me for is my little Festiva, but I've owned a Hyundai Excel. I've had a Dodge Omni. I've had
I love that Omni.
Pontiac Phoenix.
I had a Fiero.
I did not ever own a Fiero or an MR2.
I had a Fiero. My friend had all the. Oh, sorry, there's a gnat. Sorry.
I never liked it. I did own an RX-7 for a while. I've had a lot of really small cars, and the small cars are nice, but some of them get loud and some don't, and they might have a similar body style, but some of them it's interior, it's other little things, it's dash shape, it's amount of actual interior airspace.
It's fun. I mean, it's fun. All the testing, the tuning.
You got to find the right vehicle for you. So,
if you've ever thought about a vehicle, if you ever thought about it being loud, just look it up. I promise you, there's been probably 15,000 people that has already thought about that same vehicle. And trust me, somebody else has either gotten it loud or it's been a huge flop. So before you spend your money, I hate to say it, but do a little research.
Take a look around. Find out what you can on it.
You'd be surprised to see what somebody else has done with that same vehicle out there. I'm telling you right now. And I know that, hell, just from like the Nitro. I apologize. Just I know, right? Just like the Nitro. I mean, I got that Nitro loud as hell, and I was amazed by it. And then I come to find out, within Facebook, there was quite a few other people out there running the Nitro that were actually getting it loud as well. I still hold the record. That'll be Drew Jones.
Yep.
Love you, Drew. Sorry, but I actually I got the Nitro as loud as I think it would ever be. It was a 164.7. And that today still holds the record for the loudest Dodge Nitro. And until somebody else can take it, sorry.
No, as soon as we say that, someone's going to come up and say, "I did a 64.9."
I did it at USAC.
I was going to say, they showed me a picture.
It was a USAC show. It wasn't a garage score. It wasn't your backyard, whatever. It was at a USAC show. I could probably find it, yes, whatever, but it's been proven it was at a USAC show. What's up, Dior? How are you?
There you go, eh?
But yeah, no, I'm seriously, it's been fun. It's been, a lot of years. It's been a lot of money, and I don't think I'll ever stop.
Yeah, Jeremy, I texted you on that, and I don't know if you want me to. That's all I'm going to say.
Put it out.
I'll let you decide on it.
No, let him put it out. Don't be scared now. You done brought it to the table.
I did.
Brought it to the table. Just put it out. Let's see it.
Jeremy currently has the record, and again, having the access to the spreadsheet, I get to see pretty much
See, he was
everything out there. But one of the only things I don't really see is an actual, like, when your membership came through, like that date. So I don't get to see that, but I get to see shows. I get to see the number of runs, the number of times you competed, all this stuff that Billy also sees. And that's what we have in our big master database in this spreadsheet that I keep talking about. And it shows how many times you ran with Jimmy or with me or with whoever. And as I'm going through this, I get to see your scores if you've progressed through the year, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all kinds of good, cool stuff. But as I'm playing with the numbers, because I'm kind of a numbers geek, I like playing around with numbers. I can do a lot of math in my head and things like that. One of the categories that is on the sheet that we go through with it is power and your run number. But aside from that, it also has a category on there called the number of runs. So most of us, and as I'm going through this, I wish I could share this. If I was using the other software, we could here for it, Jimmy. Right now, the number of runs overall, total runs that we have is a really large number. Okay, I'm not going to share that number with you because Jeremy takes up about half of it. I'm just going to say that. But we have people that normally will take their one run or two or three, and 1, 2, and 3 are the most popular. So you get one run and you put up your number and you're good. Or if you take a sweep and then you put up your number because it's hot that day or it's really cold and you didn't test in it. So you do a sweep and then you find out you're peaking at 38, 39, whatever, and there's your run. So you got 2 runs. Jeremy, at one time earlier this year, and I won't look through all of them to find it, but he took 20 runs at one show in one class. I hope you actually won that class because I didn't scroll back through it at all. But 20 runs, that's a lot of runs, man. I hope you really won that class. I hope you didn't come in second by like,
I mean, don't get me wrong, I have
a 10th or anything. But if you're testing the whole time and you're changing little things with it and you're gaining,
yeah, no problem
on that one, man, because that's a lot. We have had everything from 1 run to 20. We've not had anyone exceed 20 yet, but we have had every number in between 1 through 20 come through. You do not hold second place at 19, but someone else did 18 with you. And that's the person who did 19. And I don't remember who that was, but I saw that and I just thought that that was amazing.
crazy about. I mean,
that is an amazing number of runs throughout the year.
I want to say you definitely won that, Jeremy, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think nobody will ever beat that.
If there ever is, I would be shocked if there was actually someone to beat that. And actually, now that I've said it, I got to look through all these runs here really quick for a second because
you couldn't do that in my shows because there's so many people in the lanes that you couldn't get back in the lane to rerun that many times unless you just sit there and reran 20 times in a row and in the lanes at one time. Which, I mean,
know what?
That's a possibility. We let that happen sometimes.
Jeremy, I called you out on accident. I'm sorry. You actually have 18 runs. You do not have 20. You are not the record holder on that. My apologies.
Who is
it? I'm just going to do that for a while.
I
feel like an idiot.
Who is it? Who owns the record?
I think he was in here earlier. But Jeremy, yeah, you have 18. I'll tell you who's got 17 in there because I know that person was in here before.
Who's got 19 and 20? There's the 19 and there's the 20.
17 was run at a Jimmy Pittman show recently.
Damn it. Yeah.
Recently, Jimmy, within a month, a little bit more than a month, 21st at, of all shows, 712.
712, yeah, absolutely.
That person did 17 runs with you, and it was in Port Wars, and he just hit 170 in Port Wars.
Oh, that would be Mr. Brodowski.
Yep, that would not be Jamie. That would be Jody, his brother.
Jody Brodowski, yes, sir.
So
Gee.
Jody's got 17. Jeremy, you're at 18.
So who got 20?
Kenneth, I'll call you out as well. And Kenneth Fannin, you got 19. You did that with Brandon.
See, I tell you, there was a 19 and a 20.
And the reigning king from the assassin class with 20 runs back in January. I've drawn this out a little bit. Back in January with Melissa Hall on under 1,500 watts of power in the beast class, in the assassin class. Team flexing on him, Warren Glenn. 20
Wow.
runs. So
20 runs.
again, we've had several people with 15 or more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14 people with 15 or more runs.
You know, you said that it's going to be like the new record to beat this weekend.
And
I have a show this weekend. I'm telling you. Damn it.
there's a couple relatively famous names in this list. Warren, you're on here twice. You got a 15 at one show, and you got the 20 at another. Jody, you got the 17 and another one on here again with Jimmy at another show back in May.
Jody likes
Silver is in here.
Port Wars.
There's a few things in here from that, and only one of them is actually Port Wars, and that was Jody. Otherwise, it's a no wall, an assassin, and one bandit. So it's mid-range stuff, but they're all pretty decent looking runs overall, because I know of all the vehicles except for one of them. And the only reason I don't know this one is I don't know who Reese is that ran with you one time, Jimmy.
Reese is my friend. My teammate, my friend. Reese.
All right.
Pain.
Yeah, Reese and Jody both did that 15 plus at one of your shows back in May. So you must not have had, must have been a nice, easy day for that. So
maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Jeremy, if you're going to do that this weekend, I'll make sure to have, I'll make sure one of my guys does 25.
21, we'll see. All right.
25.
I have,
25.
damn it. You made me step it up, damn it.
I'm not poking fun at you guys for doing that either, because if you are trying to set a record and you are getting closer to it every time, it is worth it. As long as you're not holding up the lanes too much, because then I'll make you get out of the lane and go cool your stuff down and come back.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
We'll still keep you going on that, because 20 runs, that is impressive regardless. My applause. My heartfelt congratulations to you as well, especially if you won. If you're chasing a number, you want to get that 150, like we mentioned earlier with Chris Kennedy, getting that 150 out of his blow through build. By all means, get out there and do it. Yeah.
I mean, if you're not winning, you're running to run. I mean, come on. But if you're actually winning and actually doing what you got to do to be in that lanes, that's a different story. I completely understand. Completely
different than, like I said, you're chasing your number, you're chasing your personal best, you're looking for your new personal best.
Beat their score. I understand. Like if somebody beats you by a tenth and you're coming back up to beat them by 2/10, or that runs back and forth and back and forth, I completely understand that. But if you're just up there and you're running 20 times and you're setting the exact same score all 20 times, come on, for real. And I'm just going to be honest with you. What?
And actually going to something that David just mentioned on there, David, the amount of times that I see those scores in here with the 0.99 at the end of them, especially like a 39.99 or a 49.99.
Me for a whole year. Me for a whole year.
Happen as often as you would expect. 96 and a 0.98 are more apt to happen than a 0.99 for some reason.
I ran my minivan for a whole year. I did 149.999. And I did it like at several shows. I could not break that 150. I was so discouraged. I was so pissed off. And I switched up everything and I put a different sub, different everything, and I finally broke it. But I mean, almost for a full solid year, I couldn't break a 50. I did the 149, 140. Just it stayed like at the 49 point whatever, but I could not break over that 50 cap. So yeah, I understand that 0.999. It hurts sometimes. It really, really hurts. It hurts your paycheck. It hurts your pockets. It hurts your future. I guess I don't know the exact word I'm trying to say behind it, but it hurts.
It hurts your outlook on life a little bit.
Hell, it might even hurt your relationships if you let it get to that point. But I mean, let's don't go down that road, people. But still, I mean, there's always going to be somebody louder, or it's not a competition. Or I mean, why are we here? I mean, if you're going to get the loudest as you possibly can, and nobody will ever beat it, won't they get boring after a while? I mean, seriously. I mean, hell, ask the loud people. Ask RP. Ask Alan Dante. Ask Greg Corbin. Ask Carlos Rodriguez. Ask some of the really, really loud people out there. If no one could ever beat their scores, wouldn't it get boring after a while, and wouldn't they quit doing what they're doing? Yes. I mean, at some point in time, I don't care who you are, but if you are unbeatable and nobody can beat you and you're just first, it gets boring, and you're gonna get bored with that, and you're gonna quit, and you're gonna find a different hobby or a different sport to go on. Yeah. If you're a serious competitor and want that competition.
You very well can. I've mentioned several times I got 12 or 13 first place in 1 second. And that 1 second, Jimmy, you know about it because it was at your finals that year in 2020. And the weird thing about it, I was putting up numbers to push the rest of the competition. Mm-hmm. I wasn't necessarily doing it for myself because I knew what my peak was going to be. And I still haven't hit it in the competition, but I've been able to do garage score a couple times with it. And yeah, it is part of that you want to be setting that personal record, but you don't want to do it just because. You want it to mean something. You want to take home that award at something, or you want to take home something other than, another first. And not that that's bad, because I love seeing all of my guys and gals when they come out. And I think probably Eric Carver might be one of the biggest examples that you and I both know from our area anyway, where he's got chains hanging down with all of his tag plates in front of him when he sets up his DB tent or his Def Bonds tent or his Ford tent, whatever he's got for his little canopy setup. And if he's got them hanging off the side or one on each of the 4 poles on it or something, a lot. 40, 50, 60, probably 100 awards by now, because he's been doing base wars with us since the beginning, since you were doing it in 2019, 2020. 2019, this year, last year, and at all the shows. He hangs these things up.
You also have to remember, though, he in every competition that he's ever ran with me, he doesn't come in and enter one or two classes.
No,
It's like
entered
4 or 5 classes
classes, yeah.
each time, yeah. And he generally takes first to second place in all of his competitions.
Yeah,
But-
there are not going to be many shows where he does not walk away with first, second, third, and most of the time it's first or 2nd.
Mhm.
So he definitely brings it. When you guys want to be loud, I've had Eric on my show probably about a year ago, right after Melissa and I started doing it, and he got on and we were talking about show sponsorship stuff with him. And it brings up something that we should probably talk about again with Base Force sponsorships for tag plates and stuff. But
Coming up to that, and it's going to be coming around, yes, sir.
it's you know, it's one of those things. If you want your name out there, you want your team name out there, you know, talk with your team. If you're one of the bigger teams out there, and pick on Flexing on them or Team Base Outlaws, if you want your name going across the top of that tag plate, we can make that happen for a show or two. You know, Billy's got that option out on the Base Force store. You can do that. We can set aside.
There's also, don't
50
forget,
or
there's
100
also a
something.
team trophy.
Yeah.
A team trophy, you know, if your team Flatlands that won it last year,
There you go.
or if you're another team that's won it a year after, whatever, it is what it is. But there is also a team award out there too as well. I don't know exactly what's happened to it because it's been a hiatus for a little bit, and I don't mean to throw Billy out there, but there is a team competition out there as well too.
Yep.
To see it,
There is.
that's why it asks for team members on the actual sign-up sheet. So there's little hiccups, you know. We're not perfect by any means, but there's little hiccups, and everything's working out, and it's all coming around. But just be aware for some of these other things that are coming out this year. I just want to say I think there's a lot of fun things coming around this year.
There
And
definitely are. The national.
I wouldn't say a whole lot of changes, but some of the other things behind it is going to be amazing.
We get all kinds of requests for that stuff as well. So if you got ideas, let us know on those ideas, and we'll pass them up the chain to Jimmy and Billy and myself, all your judges. You know, talk with them amongst your teammates.
Please.
Get an idea of how you would like things to be, and bring them to us. The worst thing we can say is, no, we've tried that and it didn't work. It was too confusing, or it was not something, or it was something. We'll figure it out though. We'll hopefully be able to get you something one way or another.
I don't know what you're talking about, David. Anyways, so when's your next show you have going on, sir?
I got a show on Saturday in Huron.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you covered this earlier. I was like,
I'm going on Saturday. I'm going to be there. I'll be there early. I'll be there probably about 10 o'clock. We were joking in a little discussion about it earlier on Facebook about how I was going to show up at 3 o'clock and everybody better be ready and in a line already. And I'm just going to, the line was just going to move the whole time around like a Ferris wheel. And we were going to do just a 1 foot moving kind of thing for like mayhem and the grandma class and crowd loud. That's what I always like to call crowd loud is the grandma class, because it's 6 feet out. It shakes grandma's car next to you at a stoplight. So I like it that way.
I like it.
A little
I really
pet peeve class. Fun, though. I enjoy those classes because aside from finding out who is loud in the vehicle, it can bring out something that you didn't know that your vehicle could do. And it's certainly not going to be necessarily the same frequency either. Just like Port Wars, it will probably
Port Wars is fun.
Port Wars is the great equalizer
So
on a lot of vehicles.
So fun. So just remember, shows all over this weekend. We won't rehash exactly where, but there's shows all over. I got 2 this weekend. Dan's got a couple this weekend, I think. I mean, just everybody. Everybody's got shows this weekend all over. Just hit up your local judge. Well, don't hit him up. Actually, just look on Facebook. I know it's under. Click on the About under Facebook page. Click the About, and then scroll down. Trust me, I know sometimes everybody's like, I don't see it. I don't see it because you looked at the first one or two. Scroll down. There's probably 15 shows that are happening that same day. Just scroll down. I guarantee you're going to find the show in your local area.
Yep.
Just got to be patient. We're getting big. We're trying. We're getting up there a little bit. So your local show might not be at the top of the list. Is what I'm saying. Just be patient and scroll down. I promise you'll find it.
Yeah, and scroll down. You may be surprised to know that another judge right next to you has a show as well, that you don't have to drive 180 miles, that you simply missed that Greg was doing his show this weekend and you've only got to drive 20. So check out that list. And the other two shows that I'll mention again, Richard is having his in Vegas this weekend. His is the West Coast regional. So he's having his regional out there. That is a finals thing. And Brandon is having his as well in Marion. So go see Brandon. Don't ignore the other judges, but come on out this weekend. Get in the lanes and try and be loud with us.
And I will add on the very last end of this, trophies are going to be amazing this year. I'm like so close to being ready to announce my actual finals location this year, which I believe is going to be amazing, and I believe it's going to be something. But I don't want to spill too much beans just in case it don't happen, which I doubt. But everything's going to be cool. I promise you, the awards this year will make up for. There's nothing to make up for it. Let me rephrase that. The awards this year will be amazing, and you'll be proud that you'll get them.
There we go.
How about that? That's a better way to rephrase it. And I don't know. I don't have really much more to add to that. How about yourself, sir?
I got nothing else to add other than I'm still kind of. I rearranged my desk here a little bit. I got my 3 monitors sitting up on here, so I'm kind of like Jimmy. My head's on a swivel.
Yes, I know.
Stuff like this all of a sudden, and then if I start doing it really bad, where I've got to do everything, I'm starting to look like Billy, where I'm like, okay, I got 1 monitor here. Billy's got like 20 monitors set up, I guess. So he's got the full office, everything plus a plotter, a cutter, sublimation printers, tag plate printers.
Billy's got it.
He's got a teleporter in the back because he drives so much. He teleports all of us.
I wish that would be so. I want that to actually happen. To be able to just.
It would be nice. But then you'd have to bring up the Big Bang Theory question of, well, is it really me or is it just a reassemblance of me? I don't want it to be a reassemblance. That would be bad. There you go. Goodyear Terrier. Oh, number 7, light beer.
No, it won't actually show. Look at that one right there.
St. Patrick's Day Parade.
No, the one above it. Yeah, that was me when I had the Tahoe of the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
That actually looks like something that Eddie Denny had on one of his shirts for the KC Showdown for a while. But that's your team demos one.
That was Isaac Scrunchfield.
Okay.
That made that.
Nice. I like that.
And I'm probably not saying his name right. I apologize. But he made that for me. And I want to say it was a probably a month-long thing that he did on the team page where he was trying to get everybody to the show builds. And
right.
Whoever got so many votes won that. But, Aiden had hooked my build up at that point in time, and everybody loved it. So.
Adrian probably didn't take second place to you too well.
He built it, but I mean, seriously, what could he say? He was like, damn it, I took second. The parade was awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you. I don't know. I don't really have much else to talk about.
No, I got nothing else here. Like I said, my head's kind of looking between messages here, and I got Base Wars messages. I got my own messages on the phone. I got just I got
Yeah.
for this
Same.
and that and 8 other things.
It's funny because it's like when you actually get to a point where you said it all, it's like, wow, finally, for once, it's all done.
The only other thing I will say about it here tonight is I have gotten, I think it just said 28 new emails. And the funny thing is I cleared my emails at about 6:30 tonight. And in under 3 hours, I've gotten another 30 emails, and all of them except for 2 of them. One of them being a job opportunity that I might have to look at, have all been either Base Wars or Base Wars requests to get onto the page and other things like that. So still all Base Wars related, and you know, I make light of it that it's not a 9 to 5 job, it's a 9 to 9 job, because it is literally 24 hours a day.
100%. Absolutely.
I
100.
am probably also that person that answers your question at 1 in the morning if you're on chat or something else with it, or 5 in the morning, or that's probably me. If it's something that's questionable, I do sign my name at the end of it as well. But if you're just looking for a location on something, hey, please check out Base Wars, go to the events tab, go to the Facebook page, hit the about and go to the events tab. Or if it just says events on it, click on that. And like Jimmy just said, scroll down a little bit once in a while to find your shows, or the closest show, or the next show. About the only ones that next shows that I can say with any amount of certainty are going to be the Friday night shows at UAF down in Mobile, Alabama, and the Friday night shows that I have. Mine
Fridays are hard for me. I can't do it.
change, but probably not. I kind of like my Friday night shows. They're nice, they're small, they're quick and easy. Even in the snow, they're not bad. And yeah, I've had snow at my shows this year, and I've had over 100-degree temps at my shows this year. So I run the gamut. You need a
Yes.
show?
Yes, we do. Hold on. We both.
I can do it. I've been in the snow and I've been in the heat.
I don't know about like far Minnesota as you go though, because once you get up in that Minnesota area, it's like, ow, ow.
Some of the stuff up there 20, 30 below without the wind chills. Yeah. I mean, you guys will hit 0, maybe 10 below once in a while. In
About
case
10, maybe 15. It would be the amount that I've ever seen.
Yeah,
But-
we'll get a week of it where -20 is the high temp, and it's 35, 40 below at night, again, without the wind chills.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our systems don't necessarily survive. That's why we don't see too much for the lit class up here, or the really nice, super smooth fiberglassing, because that cold weather and the heat in the summer, we're talking a 200-degree variance between everything almost, and at least 150. And that stuff will crack. I don't care how good of a fiberglass worker you are, that stuff will crack. That Bondo will expand in there. Any amount of moisture that is still in it will expand or contract, and it'll mess with your build. It does. But with that, I got nothing else here, Jimmy. If you want to take us out of here, or whatever you else have got to say it now, or say it in the lanes.
I just want to say thank you. We appreciate each and every one of you. We appreciate every dollar, every time, every moment that you guys have been with us, because it does matter and it makes a difference. Regardless of what anybody else says, we do appreciate you. And it's
Definitely do.
without you guys, we're nothing. And I mean that 100%. Without you, we're nothing. And we try to pay it back to you. We try to be here. We try to listen. And that's where I want to say we're different from all the other organizations out there. And I'm not trying to pick and poke, because I love quite a few of the other organizations out there as well too. But we listen. We listen to all your guys's, I don't want to say bitches, but I want to say bitches, moans, complaints, questions. Truly, honest answers, truly honest concerns, all of it, all of the above. We listen to all of it.
Yep.
So don't ever think that it falls on deaf ears with us, because it doesn't. But remember, we also want to keep it fair for everybody. So just because you're having a bad day and somebody beats you by a tenth and you don't think that's fair, we might not actually respond to your comment, but we're listening.
Yeah.
But you also need to know there's 50 other people that have that same thought or that same comment that you do. So it's listened, we hear, and we try to make everything different.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I'm rambling there for a second. Sorry. It is what it is. But, I do appreciate you guys, and we appreciate everything you do for us as well as we do for you.
Definitely. If you got concerns, questions, comments, criticisms, I'll emphasize the criticisms, let us know. Because, again, like to echo what Jimmy said, we're not perfect. We've got flaws, all of us. And if you can't tell us what you think we might be doing wrong, or if you think you got a better way to do something, let us know. We'll pass it up the chain.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But on that, I hope to see every one of you in the lanes this weekend at Huron or in KC area, Lenexa and Springfield. The two regionals, Brandon and Richard having theirs, as well as Greg and Bell and Jim having theirs. Stacy, won't forget you out there with Greg and Stacy. Hopefully, we'll see somebody in the lanes this weekend. With that, I think we're good here, Jimmy. Do you want to send us out?
I want to say thank you. I appreciate you guys, and have a very, very nice day.